Let's go ahead and talk about your summer assignment because there's a couple things that there's a couple things that are going to determine how you're going to apply or how you're going to look at your summer and what you're going to be doing for the summer. Like, are you taking a summer class? Are you taking a summer class because you literally failed, last year, or you really didn't learn anything? You're like, crap, I kind of need to actually redo all this stuff. Or a lot of times I get questions from students like, I want to take a summer assignment so I can get ahead, right? So maybe I can skip a class or skip a grade. Now, if you're taking a summer class, that's going to take up a lot of your summer. That's going to take up a lot of the summer. And and I'm not for or against summer classes. To be honest with you, I've never taught them or never took them as a student. So my advice though in this video is really going to be kind of focused on the student that maybe is taking some camps, maybe some doing some traveling. Maybe you're literally not doing anything and you're just kind of wondering, what should I really be doing for the summer? Should I be trying to like plan ahead? Should I just try to get away from everything? And just kind of forget about everything and just have fun, be a kid. Well, there's two things that I want. There's two things that I kind of believe. And the first thing that I believe is how did I phrase it? Um, the first thing that I believe is you are going to learn by doing nothing, absolutely nothing. And I want you to take this seriously because there's a lot of big misconceptions that students will take about how learning and what you're supposed to do to prepare for the next year. I love summer break. I do not like year round schooling, at least in my opinion. I like having that force where you are not able to learn. You are not in school and you are supposed to be a kid. You're supposed to go to camps. You're supposed to be doing travel, doing things that are not sitting inside of a classroom. I love that. Now, again, I don't have the whole thing about, full time or I don't have a problem fully with year round schooling. I've never taught in it and nor have my kids gone there. So I haven't really looked into it further, but I love summer break. And the reason why I love summer break is because you're doing things that you normally don't do. And in my opinion, as a teacher, as a student, and also now as a parent, I see that is where growth comes from. And it's not just growth in the mind, but it's growth as a human. And I think that is critically important as humans for our brain to be able to evolve in something outside of the academic space. There was actually a funny TikTok that I was watching the other day and it was talking about the baseball, Major League Baseball. And it was talking about how 48% of the Major League Baseball players were from imports. And one of the problems they talked about that, we kind of, I think in the United States, sometimes we have like this machismo, kind of idea of like, oh, we're the best. Like we always have the best athletes. So like, of course, the MLB is going to be comprised of our best talented people in the United States. And it wasn't, it was like half. And so the question is like, why? Why is that the case? Like if we have the best athletes, right? And, we are, um, America has the best baseball and everything. Why is only half of the MLB players from the United States? And the TikToks, what they, or at least the theory that was going on is like the way that we are preparing our youth for the major league was faulty, right? Because basically what the result was like do more baseball, play more baseball, travel ball, fall ball, like play baseball nonstop. And what they basically concluded was that was ruining the sport because it was either losing talented, athletes that just eventually just, they got burnt out playing, or you'd have injuries, or they would kind of like stunt their growth because they're only focusing on baseball. They're not focusing on learning different things. And I think that's really important. That's something I took away when I was an athlete. I played football, wrestling, and baseball when I was in high school. And so I was constantly going between those three sports. And obviously, I played other sports as well. And once I get into college, I played rugby, and I even played rugby after college. And I think there's a lot that we can take from learning things that are different from one another are going to help us strengthen us in in other areas. So I don't want you to be afraid, or I don't want you to feel bad if maybe like you're like, oh, friends are like, oh, I'm taking 2 summer classes, or I'm going to a science camp or STEM camp or blah blah blah. Like you're going to be okay. Enjoy being a kid. Have some fun. Get away from some of the academic. Like I'll talk about what I want you to do academically in just a second. But I want you to learn new things. I want you to expand your skill set outside of just the academic approach. And if you're having a hard time trying to find those things, like, or trying to figure out what that should mean, then go ahead and search it out. But find some things that are going to make you more well rounded and not just focused in on the academic pursuit. The, uh, you know, the other thing that kind of came into me was like, think about that creativeness. And I'm not sure if you guys ever had this idea, like when you're in the shower or like laying in bed, that's where your brain is sometimes it's most creative, right? Because you're not thinking about all those different stressors of things that are going on in your life and blah, 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 like school and all the tests and studying and all those things. Like your brain can like relax and therefore it can be more creative. Well, that's the great thing about the summer. It's like give yourself some time, some relaxation, because the whole school year is a stressor. It's high impact for a reason, and that's not necessarily that bad. But I think it's really important, though, if that is that the case, that you allow your time to rest and relaxation, some R and R, like enjoy some of the summer, do some things that you would not normally do, learn some new skill sets, have get some new expand some friendships and travel and or just do nothing and just enjoy yourself, enjoy being a kid. um but I think the other thing though that I want you to focus on, or maybe I'll just say it this way, however, learning comes from doing nothing, but learning also comes from being focused and disciplined. If you remember when I did my 30-day challenge, right? And the reason why I did the 30-day challenge is because I wanted to show you discipline and focus. I wanted you to do one problem every single day for the whole month of March. And the reason being was I wanted to show you how to be prepared for a final exam. And that comes into being disciplined, doing it every single day, and being focused, like focusing on whatever you're going to do for a certain amount of time. Now you have the summer. Now the problem with having the summer is a lot of times you're so used to having a schedule of when you wake up, when you're going to eat, when you go to bed, like what time like your activities are. And a lot of times in summer, a lot of that is just thrown out the window. Like even if you have an itinerary of like camps or, travel or like, whatever may be the case, still a lot of times it's going to flexible and it's going to change from a lot of times from week to week. So I want you to understand that it's really, really important that you still have some education, in my opinion, going on. I don't want it like when I say like, hey, do nothing, like I don't want you just to be, taking that. If you noticed in that previous talk, I was going into like doing something like proactive, like learning something new, like not just sitting in front of your TV or, playing on the computer and literally doing nothing and eating crap, right? Not saying that. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to get out there. But I also do think like, as far as an educational perspective, that you, I think as far as an educational perspective, that I don't want you to, as far as an educational perspective, I don't want you to fall into the trap of not doing anything over the summer. Because here's what happens, and it happens all the time, right? Students cram for the end of the semester or the end of the year, right? They kind of get like the senioritis or, the summeritis. Like you're just like, I'm done. I'm sick of studying. Like basically they study till like the beginning of the year or to the end of the year, right? And maybe a couple like January and February. And then it's like, I'm done. I can't study anymore. So for their final exams, they just like cram, do whatever they got to do to pass the test, get to the summer, the weather start getting nice. And you're like, I just want to enjoy myself. I'm done with school. So they cram. So they really didn't learn anything like the second half of the year. Then they don't do anything over the summer, right? They have like their nice little fun and they take advantage of what I previously said, but they don't really do anything like, they don't really do anything intentionally to actually help them. And then they come back the next year and they don't remember anything. Obviously they didn't learn it and they, crammed a lot. And then the teacher has to spend like the first quarter basically reviewing all the content, and they have to go back and like actually review it and struggle a lot, right? And it's a whole big waste of time. So here's your summer assignment that I want you to follow. So therefore you do not fall inside of that trap, right? Now, again, have your fun, enjoy yourself being a kid. That is uno, nah, not uno. That is the most important thing that I want you to kind of focus on. All right. However, on the tail end, I don't want you to get into that trap. I don't want you to lose everything you have been taught. And I don't want you to be ill prepared for the next year. So your summer assignment, which you can go to brianmclogan.com/summer assignments, and you guys can go ahead and download to follow, to remind yourself, to post on your bedroom wall, inside of on your kitchen refrigerator, inside your bathroom mirror, to remember it and to follow it. And it's a pretty simple framework, okay? But it's a framework that you have to be disciplined to follow. And here is exactly what it is. And now I take this as like 10 weeks. Okay. Now, again, you can break it to 10 weeks any way you want. You could do 8 weeks. But what I want you to do is I want you to split 2 of the weeks. I want you to split evenly. All right. So let's just take 8 weeks. No, I'm sorry, 10 weeks. That's what I said, 10 weeks. So the first 4 weeks, right? And you can kind of think about this, like at least when we taught, we got done in June. So I'd say, all right, basically all of June, 4 weeks, is you're just going to focus on one day, guys, one day, not every single day, just one day out of the week. I want you to spend roughly about an hour. Okay. Now, again, if you don't want to do an hour, maybe you want to do 30 minutes, like maybe do 2 days, maybe do 3 days, like there's going to be some adjustments. But I think for the majority of students, if you can just take one day and spend like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of a week, and let's just say Monday, Monday's your day. You just spend an hour. Just review the content that you have previously already been taught, right? You didn't throw it away from after the final exam, right? So you just go back through your notes, go back through your homework, go through back your tests, go back through your quizzes, and just review the material. It's really that simple, right? You're just trying to refresh yourself for the next 4 weeks, okay? So that's basically 4 weeks. That's basically 4 times that you're going to do that for an hour. That is just a good refresher. Then July, in my mind, once July like hits, I start thinking about the next school year. So now July is hit. What are you going to do? Now you're going to start focusing and preparing for the next school year, right? You have 4 weeks. So hopefully your teacher gave you a summer assignment. If not, go online, find a summer assignment or find another student that has taken the class. And again, just do an hour. It doesn't have to be big, but start doing some practice problems to help prepare you for the upcoming year. So again, to review, the first 4 weeks, June, basically, you are just reviewing what you previously learned, what you previously have been taught, what you previously had for your course. Then in July, the next 4 weeks, you're just going to focus on the upcoming school year. Start doing some practice problems that you are all focused on that upcoming year. Then the last 2 weeks, which is be like August, which is like right up to the school year, you're going to now transition to at least like every single day. But you're going to go back to that like 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And I just want you to go back through and review. So the first week, you're going to review all the stuff you did in June because you probably forgot it by now. And then the next week, the week right before school, you're going to go back and you're going to review again, like every single day, just spend about 30 minutes, go back through and review all the problems that you did in July and get yourself hyper prepared. Okay. Because again, if you're having fun, one day is not going to ruin your summer. One day a week is not going to ruin your summer. You can have an amazing summer. You can learn so many different things. And again, you're not going to be like completely just focused on the next school year because that's what I don't want you to do. So many students are like, oh, I have to take a summer class to get ahead, or I have to go to all these camps that, to get ahead, or do like math every single day. Like, no, don't. I don't want you to do that. I understand some students that might be the right advice, but I think for a majority of students, even if you failed or got a D or a C, like I want to get the growth. I want you to get from growth outside of academic. And I think that is what's going to serve you the most for the upcoming year. So following that framework, I think is going to provide you the foundation that now you can have a successful year and you are going to be ready and prepared to take on the new upcoming school year. So download that framework at bradmclogan.com/summer assignment. Form assignment. And I wish you, and I hope you have an excellent summer. Wish you have an excellent summer, and I can't wait to see you inside. Wish you have an excellent summer, and you're going to have a great school year. I don't want to include my thoughts, but hopefully that was all helpful for you guys.